For years now, the fates of nearly 700,000 immigrants have been trapped in legal limbo after the Trump administration ordered the termination of the DACA program in 2017. The policy, which allows undocumented immigrants brought to the United States as children to live and work, has been winding its way through the court system ever since. The last stop for DACA is with the Supreme Court, the highest court in the nation. While oral arguments in the case were heard on November 12, 2019, thousands rallied outside the court in Washington, D.C. to remind the justices and the millions of other Americans watching the news break that home is here. But what exactly happened inside the courtroom that day? Let's break it down. During the oral arguments in front of the Supreme Court, two critical questions were considered. The first was whether or not the Trump administration's decision to end DACA can be reviewed by the courts at all. The administration made the case that the courts do not have the right to review its move to terminate the program because it has total discretion. DACA advocates argued that the Trump administration's decision to end DACA was in fact a legal decision and must therefore be subject to the scrutiny of our judicial system. The second question was whether or not the Trump administration's termination of DACA was lawful. Here, the administration argued that the DACA program itself is illegal and that a wind down of the program is necessary. They argued that Congress needed to act to create this type of program, and that even President Obama referred to it as a stopgap measure in place of a permanent legislative solution. DACA advocates asserted that, while the administration can end DACA because it is an executive action and not a law, the analysis and justification provided by the administration when it ended the program was insufficient. Since the oral arguments, the news cycle has been full of speculation on how the court will rule. But to be clear, it's only speculation at this point. No one can know for sure what the justices will decide. In the meantime, we continue to wait. There's no way to tell when the judges will issue their decision, but we expect it to be sometime in 2020, before the end of June.
For DACA recipients, so much is at stake. It's essential they and their allies know what actions can be taken right now to support, advocate for, and stand up for their futures. First, it's more important than ever to remain informed about updates or changes to the program. For now, the program remains open for renewals only. That means people who have or had DACA can apply to renew, but first-time applications are not being accepted. Follow organizations like the ILRC or partners like Immigrant Rising on social media to stay up to date. We'll have the latest news and analysis when the Supreme Court reaches a decision. Second, if your DACA expires anytime in 2020, renew as soon as possible in case the court allows the Trump administration to end the program or the decision leaves the program in limbo. If you are unsure if you still qualify for DACA, remember, if you are enrolled in the program now or happened in the past, even if the case was expired or was terminated, you can still renew. If you've had contact with law enforcement since your last renewal, or if your DACA was terminated, you should talk with a trusted legal service provider before applying to renew. Resources are available for those who need help paying their renewal fees. Visit the Ready California website or United We Dream website to see a list of organizations covering filing fees. These organizations take donations too, so if you want to help a DACA recipient pay their fee, chip in where you can. Lastly, we encourage all DACA recipients to get a legal screening to see what other options they may have to obtain lawful status in the United States. Researchers estimate that over 20% of DACA recipients are eligible for another more permanent form of status, ensuring a more stable future in the place they call home. Ultimately, the future of DACA rests in the hands of the Supreme Court justices, but until a decision is made, advocates, allies, and the community will continue to fight for the future of the program and for the rights of the 11 million other undocumented immigrants who call this country home.